Hey guys, it's Bonnie. Today I am here on the last day of 2016. Thank God. I'm here to film my favorite books of the year, which is always an exciting video to film because it's talking about a bunch of books that I love. What more could you want? I read 50 books this year, which was exactly my goal. I just finished my 50th book today. So I'm very happy that I met my Goodreads goal. While I did read a lot of good books this year, I was very picky about picking favorites, and so I only have about 7. This is going to be in no particular order because I just didn't feel like dealing with the stress of ordering things, except for the last 2. They're kind of tied for like the favoritist because, well, you'll see. The first book that I'm going to talk about is the first book that I read in 2016, and it's my problematic fave of the bunch, and that is Me Before You by JoJo Moyes. This book, I'm sure you've heard of it. It got really big this year. There was a movie with Sam Claflin and Emilia Clarke. Love them. Yes, this book has some problematic aspects. I didn't really see that when I read it. It wasn't until I listened in to the voices of people that have the kind of disabilities that one of the characters has. I definitely see that now, even though I didn't see it when I first read it. However, I still really loved this book. I could not put it down. I just wanted to reread it as soon as I finished it. I will say that I haven't read the sequel yet, and I had I had ordered the sequel as I was nearing the end of the book, and then when I finished the book, I was like, what the heck? I don't need to read that. Mostly because it was only out in hardcover at the time, and I'm like, I have this in paperback, I want the sequel in paperback, and since it ended the way it ended, I no longer feel an immediate need to read the next one. I think I will read the next one sometime this year, now that it's out in paperback, but yeah, like I said, this book definitely has problems. I didn't really see it, but now I do, and I have to acknowledge that. However, I still loved the writing, and I really loved the characters, and I see what it was trying to do, even if it missed the mark. The next book is a very popular and beloved book that I had been meaning to read for years now and only just now got to it, and that is The Book Thief by Marky Zuzak. This, again, is a super popular book, so I'm sure you know what it's about. This book was super beautiful. It's told from the perspective of death, which was really interesting, and just the way it's written and the way everything comes together and plays out is just so beautiful and heartbreaking. I still haven't watched the movie version, so that's something to do in 2017. But yeah, this book was amazing. I see why everyone loves it, and yeah, amazing. Great book. Highly recommend. The next book on my list is more of a series than a book because I really don't know which one is my favorite, and that's the Foxhole Court series by Nora Sakovic, something like that. I don't have physical copies of these books because when I read them they were only ebooks, but I believe now that they've got some attention, especially on Tumblr. If you're on Tumblr, these books are everywhere. But now that they've got some attention, I think they released them in actual physical copies, so that's something I need to get my hands on in 2017. This series follows a boy named, oh my god, I can't even remember his name. So is it really a favorite? I read this series in one big, Neil, that's the guy's name, Neil, got it. I read this series in kind of one big heap, so it's hard for me to kind of put each book on a ranking because to me they're all just one big thing in my mind because I just gobble them up straight through. I have a full series review that is spoiler free that I will leave linked in the down bar if you want more of my thoughts, because right now I'm just blanking, but it was really great. It follows this fictional sport, which is a little hard to grasp at first, but once you get it, it's really great. And yeah, it's definitely violent at times and probably some trigger warnings in there for violence, especially the third book I remember was hella violent. But it's a very addicting story and I really love the characters. Like always, if a book has good characters, it's probably why I love it. Next I have United We Spy by Ally Carter, but really the entire Galahagger Girls series. This is the 6th book and the only one that technically wasn't a reread. I read this one for the first time this year, but the other 5 books I had read, I just did not remember them at all because it's been years since I read them. Reading this was so nostalgic and lovely. I love these characters so much. They're some of my all-time favorite characters. This is one of my all-time favorite series, and the conclusion was amazing. The entire series is amazing. It's just ugh, so many feels of nostalgia and love and happiness, and just this series makes me so happy. So if you want to be happy, check out the Galahagger Girls series because it's amazing. I also have a whole video on why you should read the Galahagger Girls series, so I will link that down below if you need some more convincing. The next book on my list is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This was a recent read, and the last book of the year, the one I finished today, was the sequel to this, The Mind Mortar. My favorite out of the two is definitely The Bone Season. This book is amazing. Oh my god. I've had it on my shelf for like 2 years and just haven't picked it up. I bought the second book on Book Outlet during their Black Friday sale, which is where I bought this one during their Black Friday sale, but like 2 years ago. So I was like, you know, I better read this, make sure I like it before I keep collecting this series. And I love it so much. This world is so unique, so crazy. The first 100 pages or so, you have to kind of get used to this world and all the crazy stuff. But it was never like confusing that much, like a little, but like you get it, you know? And once you get it, it's incredible. It's so imaginative and amazing. And I don't even want to say much about it because I think you should just like go into it. But it's about this girl named Paige who has a really cool power and something happens. That's a really vague description, but like I said, you should just go into this because it's really cool and amazing. And now I actually have to wait for the next book to come out, and I'm not enjoying that. I just want to read it right now. And now we are down to my top 2 books of the year. They're really hard to place one above the other because I just love them both so much. First of my last 2 favorites is The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the 4th and final book in the Raven Cycle series, and it was amazing. Everything I could possibly want. I read it twice this year technically because I got the physical book on the day it came out and like read it one sitting, and then I got the audiobook from my library and listened to it on audiobook because the audiobooks are amazing. Will Patton reads them. He's amazing. The story is just so beautiful. The characters, again, are so beautiful. They drive this story way more than any plot could possibly, and that's probably why I love it so much, because characters are the #1 thing to me. I actually got to meet Maggie Stiefvater this year, and she signed this book for me, and it was just so amazing hearing her talk about the series and getting to go to her last tour for the series, and oh my god, it's amazing. I love this book so much. And the last book on this list is right here. Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. Oh my god, what can I say about this book? It broke my heart, and it was amazing. And Leigh Bardugo is my mom, my writing mom. I will read any book that she ever puts out, as well as Maggie Stiefvater. Love Maggie Stiefvater, but I'm not all caught up on her books. I'm all caught up on Leigh's books. And this was just everything I could ask for and more. If you don't know, this is the 2nd book in the Six of Crows duology, and it's just an amazing fantasy heist novel series with the most amazing group of characters, and if you haven't read it, you need to do that immediately because it's amazing. So those are my favorite books of 2016. I think it was a pretty good year reading wise. It was a horrible year everything else wise, and I'm not just saying that to like fit in with like 2016 was so bad. Like no, literally the worst year of my life. But 2017, it's gonna be better, I hope. But these are my favorite books. Let me know if we share any of the same. Let me know what's your favorite book of the year or your favorite books if you can't choose one, because I know that feeling. But I will see you guys in the new year. Thank freaking God. Bye.